says live on YouTube.
You're now streaming. All right. Well, Tyler's on like Patrick Mahomes. Because if
Oh
he doesn't,
yeah.
so
Mm.
so are we? Why is it not connecting? All right. Really? Thank you. All right. All right. Are we good? We connected? All right.
All right.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 36 of the Double A Sports Podcast. We're your host, Alan and Alan. So, still no baby.
Any second, man.
Anytime, due date was this weekend. So, still on high alert. But man, the season is over. There was a lot of last day big games on the line for who's in, who's out. We'll talk about that. But first, we have a little bit news, which we'll see more and more as the postseason go on, is retirement. So
right.
First things first, Hunter Pence.
Yeah, man. Hunter Pence announced his retirement when the season ended, basically. He finished his career batting .279. He had 244 home runs, 942 RBIs. He's a four-time All-Star, and he's won 2 World Series with the Giants. So, yeah, man. I mean, what do you think he's going to be doing?
I don't know. Like I think, what is it? Him and his wife already own, like, I remember seeing a commercial, like a coffee shop and stuff.
Okay.
So they're going to enjoy, like the last day of the season, he was actually at the Giants game on the water signing autographs for people in the canoes. So,
yeah, I saw that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nice. But, when you post the video, it said nothing can really prepare for you for this part of the career when you say, I'm retiring from baseball. He said on Twitter, I give it everything I can, and the game has given back to me tenfold. So, he's been trying to prolong his career last year with Texas, and then he came back to the Giants this year and just had a terrible season before they released him. But it's hard where you keep hearing about players that, when your body says it's time to go and you don't want to. And, unfortunately it was time for him to go. He was batting .096 batting average when they released him. So
I mean, the one thing I always remember about him is that he has the weirdest stance. Like his swing is just like still it's just weird to me. That's all.
Yeah. So I hope it's like, I hope he finds
also,
well.
I'll say if anything, if his coffee shop doesn't go well or whatever, he can always go back to being part of the Sticky Bandits.
Yeah, that beard and that look, God, man.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We'll see what he does, but I'm pretty sure it's not the first. Well, besides God, I forgot to even add in here about Alex Gordon announcing the Kansas City. He retired, but of course he got they pulled him from the game the other night, so they give him his little moment
with nobody in the stands.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I guess they still get a standing ovation from, I guess, everyone in the dugout and then the opposing dugout. So it was a nice gesture. But I thought, since this is technically the first day of the off season for most of the teams, well, not most,
half the teams are the
year. But before the season technically ended yesterday, the Red Sox said they're not bringing back their manager, which is not surprising because he was on a trial basis.
Right. He was the interim manager after the firing of Cora.
So, the final day of the season, the Red Sox announced they did not bring back Ron Rosgowski. The Red Sox made an announcement before their season finale against the Braves. In the statement, Charm Bloom said, throughout this difficult season, Ron's consistency and professionalism kept the environment in the clubhouse productive and gave all of his players room to grow and develop. While we believe that moving forward will benefit from new leadership, new energy, that does not diminish how strong we feel about Ron. He's a man of the highest character who cares about our players and the Red Sox organization. As a bench coach, he helped the team win its world championship. As a manager, he showed poise, leadership, and negativity, an extreme challenging year. We are grateful for all his contributions in his uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like you said, the organization had nothing but good things to say about Ron. They said, I felt like they just want new life in the clubhouse after the whole scandal thing went on.
And I think he was just the safe hire because remember, it was weeks before the spring training started originally before Corona. But, 64 took over the skipper after Alex was fired, the wake of the sign stealing scandal between the Red Sox and Astros. And he was the bench coach the 2 seasons under Cora. So the team wasn't really set up to compete this year anyway. So this really wasn't his fault with, Boston traded away Mookie Betts and then David Price to the Dodgers. Then also they lost Sale to injury. They also lost Edwin Rodriguez, who missed the season due to the heart because of heart condition scares because of COVID. So it's unfortunate,
right,
that he took over that team.
And like you said, the team wasn't built for success this year, and they got a brand new manager. But he still managed to get the team at 24-36, even though that was last place in the AL East. That's still impressive. With the team is not built to win in the AL East.
And the pitching was horrible, and not with your ace and one of your key bullpen guys. And it's unfortunate. Short season. Maybe if you still got longer, could have got a little better. But
right. Even after it was said and done, Ron said, in the end, I'm just not the guy they want to move forward with. Pridefully, it hurts because I know what I'm doing. I think I got the best out of the players. So he felt good about what he's done there. I'm sure the door's going to open up in different areas. Did they say if they're going to keep him in the organization, or
they did not? So I'm pretty sure they'll probably let him just walk away.
Okay.
So here comes the question. What a lot of people are wondering is with, they said they're not bringing back. Is there a shot that they bring Alex Cora back?
Maybe. I mean, if they felt strongly in the guy, the hard part is if you do bring him back, are you going to have the attention of the players? Are you going to have the respect of those guys?
Yeah, that's the biggest, because, technically nothing was found with the Red Sox organization when they did the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, maybe it wasn't Cora, but then it's like, I wonder if Boom is going to be like, let me go talk to players, see what they think about him, or who does he just go and decide his own coach, since he'll have a full off season to get his guy that he wants for the future.
Who got hit the worst out of that whole situation was Beltran.
Yes.
I mean, he's not a player anymore. He got fired. He's not. This opportunity might not come back to him. And all the players, they basically got slaps on the wrist.
Yeah, and you can just look at their batting averages and stuff this year.
I know, like subpar 200s. Come on, man.
Yeah. So it's really so far the only manager firing, but there was another firing, which been long overdue. I feel like
I agree, man. So also the Angels, they decided to finally fire their GM, Billy Epler. He was let go after 5 years as the Angel GM, and subsequently they also have 5-year losing streak.
Yeah. The final day of the regular season with 26-33 record with playoff expansion. Angels missed the playoff for the 6th straight year, 5 of them coming under his watch. So the Athletic Ken Roosevelt reported on the 21st the Angels still appear the most likely team to dump their GM. Mm-hmm. And then that Dave Jabrowski has emerged as a favorite to get the job once he's fired.
Okay.
So if they do hire Jabrowski, that would be a clear message. This 64-year-old built talent contenders, relying on marquee free agents, leveraging organization's best prospects. 2 World Series teams, the 97 Marlins and the 2018 Boston Red Sox. And then Detroit Tigers claimed 4 straight divisions titles and 2 American League pennants when he was with Detroit. Could be a good spot because, with Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, like you have a nice 2 young stars. And now you've got to build around, which I've said, And you said too, his pitching is a must with LA with
Yeah,
these
it's
Angels.
it's just sad because like Epler, I mean, you got the best player in baseball on your team, and you're failing to win. You're not taking them to the playoffs. I know you got Ant Rendon this year, and you've had big plans for some other guys. It didn't happen. But we could have seen this coming after the Angels owner Brad Osmus fired. Um, After the owner fired Brad Osmus after 1 year, and that was the manager that Epler hand selected himself. So you knew
Yes.
they weren't on the same path. They weren't. Their minds weren't thinking alike. So I thought that this was the final year that he could prove that he could win, even with expanded playoffs and a team that on paper looks decent enough to compete. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, they've regularly targeted star players in the open market with like Rendon recently, but just one playoff appearance since the 2009 American League Championship Series. You have an owner who's willing to spend, Mike Trout. So it should make the job very attractive. So we'll see what the Angels do for both players and GMs.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So first thing, what a season.
Yeah,
60,
man.
60 games. Well, besides St. Louis only played 58, but 60 game season, crazy. American League was pretty much locked up going into the weekend. National League, there was multiple spots for the playoffs. It's insane that at first we're thinking no baseball for the longest time. We thought
Yeah.
deal wasn't get done, and then 60 game season became it, and it's unreal because 2 months is what we had, and I can't believe it's already over. We're talking postseason.
I know. I mean, it felt like we were just talking about it. The season went by pretty quickly. So yeah, man, let's get into some final standings.
Yeah, so the NL East, Atlanta ended up taking the division at 35-25. The Miami Marlins took the second guaranteed playoff spot at 31-29.
Yes.
4 games behind Atlanta. Then Philadelphia Phillies barely missed the postseason at 28-32, 7 games behind Atlanta, but 1 game behind the wild card. And then the Mets and Nationals tied for last in the division at 26-34, 9 games behind the Braves and 3 games out of the wild card.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you look at it overall, it's not terrible because the Nats and the Mets both went in last place, and they're at 26 wins. I mean, we figured if 30 wins would have got you in.
Yeah.
So 26 wins isn't too far off.
Yeah,
so that's not bad as a whole.
If you look at the division, how tough it was, and then we had to play the AL East.
Yes,
so that
exactly.
is a very tough. So you can't really argue. It's hard. It sucks that you wish there was more games.
Right.
Because a lot like Philly had a terrible bullpen. Mets, it was a combo between the back end starters and some of the bullpen.
Leaving players on the bag scores.
And then pretty much Nationals not getting defending World Series MVP for the whole year. He got 1 start before going back out. It's tough. 60 games, 12 starts from your starters.
It is tough. But I'll tell you what else is tough. This next division, the NL Central. This division produced 4 teams to make the playoffs.
It was insane. I thought San Francisco had a chance. I was watching San Francisco game. That last out was ridiculous. Bad call.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough to get 29 wins and not get in.
God, dude, you literally down to the last strikeout someone was on. I thought maybe Mike Yastrzemski was going to get a shot, but bad call. It was out of their hands. But let's go and talk about your Central champion. We have the Chicago Cubs at 34-26.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. Everyone thinks it might be the last year this core together. We'll have to wait and see this off season. But newly first year manager put it together this year in a short season.
Yeah, man. And we knew he could. I mean, old man Ross over there is just doing his thing.
I think the best thing is that when he played with them, so he didn't know a lot of these guys.
That's true.
So he had a good and I'm pretty sure he's been around the team before the job was his.
I'm sure he was around the team and he knows the guys, but that also could be something tough to work with because you know the guys personally and they're your friends. But at the same time, you got to be their manager and you got to be like, look, guys, if you're not producing, you're not playing. I'm here to win.
Yeah, and so second team to get the second guarantee spot is St. Louis Cardinals at 30-28. Yes, they didn't get to make up 2 of the games from the coronavirus outbreak they had, but by percentage and wins losses, they they gave it because the tiebreaker to St. Louis over Cincinnati. So
yeah, man. So we'll see how this plays out because this definitely changes seedings.
yes, it does. And then the Reds came in third at 31-29. You know, you would think 31 wins, but because of the extra loss, it's unfortunate
Right.
because they played the whole games and neither did St. Louis.
So
But
we'll see if any of these teams benefit from that.
and because of the tiebreaker scenario with San Francisco and Milwaukee gets in the final 8 seed at 29-31, 5
Yeah,
games
man.
behind the Cubs.
I bet Bob Euchre's happy about that.
Yeah, and then we don't have to talk about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
19-41. We knew they're probably going to be one of the worst teams in baseball, and they were.
Yeah, we foresee that.
Big rebuilding mode, new GM, new manager. They have a lot of work ahead. So they got the number 1 pick next year. So they'll do some research, and it's going to be kind of hard to do that number 1 pick. You're going to have to base it on this season's, so I feel bad if it's anyone's, junior year last year.
Luckily, don't they still have time to see if spring ball happens?
Yeah, I think it should.
They usually draft right after.
Yeah, but I'm saying you'll get a whole season missed from key guys if they're young, but who knows? We'll see. And then the West.
Yeah, the West.
The West, man, it was fun.
Yeah, we don't need to say much about that because the Dodgers at 43 and 17, they crushed the whole National League. And then you got the Padres, who did pretty well themselves at 37 and 23.
Yeah, there for a while we thought that they could make the Dodgers sweat a little, which they did. Some of those big series there close, they are splitting, and we're like, can San Diego? Then San Diego fell off there a little bit at the end, but they still got the 4 seed, so they will have the wild card round game in San Diego. So we'll see that. And then San Francisco.
Hey man, it was an exciting year for them. It's sad that they didn't make it.
It was very sad. Like, if you didn't see the replay, the last out was clearly a ball, brought that glove up so quick, and the guy, I think the ump didn't want to be there. I think he wanted to go home, but called it out, which didn't give a chance to, if you get beat, you won't get beat by yourself, not by the ump.
I agree. I absolutely 100%. And I mean, the he knew the severity of this game too.
Yeah.
So he knew the position he was in. He can't be blowing calls.
Yeah, San Francisco, when they were going to be in, and they would end up facing the Dodgers. But hey,
that's okay because they would have been in the same division. I like that. It would have been the Dodgers might have steamrolled them, but at least they would have had a shot.
So, and then Colorado, they were in it. So about the last week of the season, 17 games behind the Dodgers, but only 3 games behind the wild card at 26 and 34. And then Arizona made a little run there at the end at 25 and 35. So,
all right. Well, then let's talk about the AL. So this division, the AL teams are pretty tough in general. You got the East with the Rays. Alan called that from the beginning. He thought the Rays were a great team, and guess what? They won 40 games, lost 20. Pretty solid. The next team are the Yankees. The Yankees, they were up and down. We kind of thought they were good at the beginning. They were a little injured, and they were injured as well during the season, but somehow they pulled it together and got a 33 and 27 record.
Yeah, the big sweep over the Blue Jays that last week helped them, because if not that, they would have been the wildcard team, and Toronto would have had that second seed if it wasn't for that sweep.
Huge.
If they were just got one other game from them, they probably would have swapped, and then the Buffalo Torontos would have been. They would. No, I don't think they'd have been hosting the game, would they? No.
Oh, either way, the seeding is huge. It could have a big impact. And then we got the O's. Surprisingly, they had a decent record. 25 and 35, not terrible. We thought it could have been worse.
So what? The second week of September, they had a shot. Then
they sure did.
Then Yankees swept their 5 games. They're pretty much like, okay, you're done. They finished 7 games behind the wild card. But we thought they were going to be the worst team in baseball, but especially losing Trey and all the other guys, these young guys, but they put it together. So this is a young team that we could watch.
Yeah, a couple people stepped up. Was it Mountcastle and some other guys?
Yeah, they finally called it Mountcastle, which was surprising they didn't start. Last year's MVP of the International League, and he didn't get to start the season with them. It was kind of odd, but they finally called him up, and he could, helped them. So he'll definitely compete for a spot next year. So it's gonna be a young team. And then, like we talked about earlier, Boston with the firing of their manager, it's just they weren't successful, but yet they're only a game behind the O's. They would have finished fourth place, which I believe that's where we both had them, I think, in fourth place, and the
Yeah.
O's fifth. So we knew they weren't going to be good after losing, Mookie Betts, the trade, and stuff like that. But still, with that record,
Still depending on from what happened last season, it's disappointing.
yeah. And then
All
the
right.
Central.
Yeah, the Central.
God. So what? I think Saturday night this didn't get locked up to who was going to win because everyone kept getting swept up, down. Like you didn't know who was going to get this division.
Hey, this one was tight. Any one of these three teams that made the playoffs from this division right here could have came
Like,
first.
what was it? Like days before the season ended, the team that finished third in the division was leading the division almost comfortably. We thought it was going to lock it up.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
That's how big the swing when Cleveland, I think, swept them. All I think were walk-offs. That's how big the swing went. So let's talk about it. Who's the division winner of this thing?
Well, right now the division winner is the Twins. They're
Barely.
at 36-24.
Man,
barely, exactly.
Barely. But Twins, two-time defending champion now. They won it last year. Now they got it this year. So, they made a bunch of offseason moves because they wanted to be that team this year, and they ended up getting the division.
Well, the team that came in second in the division is a team that I'm really hyped about.
They came in hot.
Yeah, we like this team from the beginning. They struggled at the beginning as well, but they got it together. It's the White Sox. They came in into the season at 35-25, and it's a bunch of young guys hungry to win games.
Well, actually, in second place is Cleveland.
Oh, well, that's not what I got in here. So
yeah, Cleveland got the tiebreaker.
Oh wow!
So they got the second seed.
Well, so look at that. Cleveland and the White Sox are both 35-25. Like I said, the White Sox are a young crew. They're led by Abreu, who's freaking having an MVP year. And then you got the Indians. The Indians. We liked them preseason, I think.
We liked them where it depends on if they fell behind too long, would they trade some of their stars?
Exactly.
The pitching was a question because after trading Corey Kluber and then trading last season with trading Bauer, it's like, who's going to pitch? We knew they had Bieber, but who's going to be after that? And they stepped up Clevinger, but then they made a shock trading Clevinger. It was like, are they giving up? Like, we're not sure what they're doing. And then they made this run.
Just imagine if they get rid of those pitchers, man.
Yeah. Like you're talking about a 5-horseman roster if they kept all of them.
Oof.
God. So, and then Kansas City,
the Royals,
made a couple, they made a couple moves at the end. They got to 26-34. And then Detroit, which was in the playoff race until I think what we would say late August, early September. And then
yeah, but that's to be expected. I mean, they weren't supposed to be there anyway.
No,
so they finally settled.
Yeah. So, and then the AL West, man, not really shocked by this. If you think about during the regular season, we both knew Oakland was good.
Oh yeah.
It was just like, was the young pitching going to step up? Houston, what they're going to do? And then Houston just started losing pitchers, and Oakland just stayed hot and just walked away and was the first to clinch the division.
Yeah, I think we didn't. I don't know. You might have had the Astros in there. I thought they were going to fall because of the whole scandal situation. I think I had the Angels going in here.
I still gave the Houston a slight edge to win the division. Oakland get a wild card because I knew Oakland was good, but I just figured with a short season,
yeah,
I wasn't quite sure. But man, injuries, they creep on you real quick and mess up your entire season. But Oakland at 36-24, secured the number 2 seed in the playoffs. And then Houston barely, walking into the weekend, there was a shot if Houston lose out and then Seattle or Angels would have won out, there was a shot that they could maybe get in. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. So Houston's in at 29-31. Seattle at 27-33, a bunch of young guys. They've been trading players, getting younger, and they have some top young prospects ready to be called up. So if not next year, the year after that, that's going to be a strong team to watch out for.
Yeah, man, I'll be excited to see what the Mariners get to do next season.
Yeah, and then Angels, like we said, they just fired the GM, Mike Trout. Finished 4th in this division is a very disappointment. I thought, especially the team going 8 teams, okay, I thought Angels have a shot. And it looked like they did until it's just unfortunate. It's like, especially when Daddy Trout came back and was tearing it up. You're like, okay, watch out for this team.
Yeah, but he can't only do so much by himself.
And then the roller coaster of Texas,
Yeah,
hot, cold, hot, cold. Let's
The
not
more
trade away
cold-
our best
the
pitcher to get
more cold.
prospects.
yeah, man. I mean, they finished 22-38. Nothing to talk about. We'll see what they do next year.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate. So let's go ahead and do the playoff breakdown. First, start with the NL. So we get the Dodgers clinching the number 1 seed, Atlanta at the number 2 seeds, Cubs got the number 3 seed, and then Padres are the 4th team. So they'll be the 4 spots. They're hosting the wild card round. St. Louis will travel to San Diego. Miami will travel to Chicago. The Reds will travel to Atlanta, and then Milwaukee squeaking in will travel to LA.
Yeah, man. So any of these games sticking out? Let's see.
So my biggest thing is going to be the series that I'm definitely going to be watching, keep an eye on, is really 2. Is going to be the Reds in Atlanta.
That's the one I highlighted on my screen.
What Reds team are we going to get against Atlanta?
Look,
Because
man,
they've not been consistently here to the last couple of weeks. Finally,
I agree. Out of all these games, the series I'm most excited about is the Braves versus the Reds. But my biggest thing is the game 1.
yes,
I'm assuming we're gonna get the best pitcher the Reds have, which is
Bauer.
And that's gonna be exciting. If they can win that first game,
It makes Atlanta have to win the next 2 to go on.
So the Reds must win this game. But if they beat the Braves, think of the momentum that they got going forward.
Yes. And then, Atlanta's, they said it's cleared. Max Fried will pitch game 1.
Yeah.
So
there we go, man.
It's
Set it up.
He's been their ace step in. So, he was in the Cy Young race a little bit to injuries and stuff kind of derailed that for him, but
right.
It's gonna be an interesting matchup. And then the other one,
it has to be the Padres and Cardinals, right?
I actually want to see what Miami could do against the Cubs.
Okay, I figured this one's a no-brainer, but you're right. Because I'm
this
over here
scrappy Miami team. God,
but Marlins are looking good.
Technically they're undefeated in the playoffs.
Hey, man, that's strong.
Miami did play them against the Cubs last time they went to World Series, and Bartman game. Anyone remember that?
I do. The only difference this time is that Bartman's not going to be in the stands because he is in the cutout in the seat and Wrigley Field right now.
Yeah, and then the Cubs Padres. The biggest thing is going to be Clevinger.
Yeah.
There was rumors Clevinger not pitching. Now they're saying there's a chance that he does. It all depends on this game 1 matchups, man. It's insane.
Well, I think it just depends on how hot the Padres hitters can stay.
Yes,
that's going to be the big key here.
Yeah, so
I don't think it's gonna be a pitcher's duel there.
No, so and then Milwaukee Dodgers, Milwaukee had a great, story with coming in the rookie.
That'll be a sweep.
Yeah, I feel like, Dodgers, that starting pitching, it's like it's
the
insane.
Dodgers team in general is just great, man. And think about how good they've been doing. And one of their best players has been doing is great this year, Bellinger.
Yeah, defending MVP. So it's insane, and then so the NL playoffs will start Wednesday, and it's kind of interesting that the Reds and Braves are going to be starting on noon on ESPN.
Huh.
What caught my eye is on Wednesday. Also, the Mariners, not the Mariners, but Marlins at Cubs is going to be at 2:00 on ABC.
Okay.
Because I wonder, because Wednesday is the day that we're going to have 8 games on TV. So I'm like, how much spread are they going to be? And I saw ABC. I was like, that's like the first time I've seen a baseball game on ABC.
Because they're not playing the Little League World Series, so they got to show something.
Yeah. So like ESPN has majority of the games besides TBS for one on that Wednesday. So,
all right.
And then the American League.
Yeah, so we talk about the AL. It's pretty solid. So the first thing we got is the number 1 team is the Rays. And obviously they'll be matched up against the Blue Jays at number 8. And I like this because the Blue Jays are in the division, man. They got a slight advantage of playing a team they know.
Yeah.
But the Rays are the Rays. So
the Rays are the Rays. Especially the pitching matchup. They don't have Ryu pitching to game 2. So, and that's going to be interesting. And then, Tampa Bay has Glasnow. They have Blake Snell. So
They got options, man.
They have options. I feel like Ryu's that guaranteed if we do lose the first game, we have Ryu to go game 2 to try to force us to game 3. I think that's kind of scenario. So
all right. So the next matchup we have is the number 2 seed, which are the A's, Oakland A's, and they're gonna play the White Sox at number 7. I like this one too, man.
I feel bad for Oakland.
Yeah, because that's a tough matchup to start with.
That is a very tough matchup.
I would have they would have felt happier if they were going to play like the Astros.
Yeah, like, you know, and it was looking that way for a little bit, but and it's like because originally Oakland was looking at be the 3 seed, so it's like, okay, we're getting a bunch of division matchups. So this could be interesting.
Regardless of how you cut it, exactly.
And then the last day kind of just switched everything up on us. Last 2 days. But
so that's gonna be tough, man.
It is tough.
The next matchup I have is number 3, the Twins, versus number 6, Astros.
I just don't see Houston doing anything in this playoffs. Like
I don't either.
With no Verlander, just having Greinke, and then the way that the
hitters aren't producing. I don't see them winning this. It could go to game 3 or whatever, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't see it. I feel like it might be 2 games and move on.
I think so.
And then but the next one
is the one that I highlighted.
Yes.
This is the one that I can't wait to watch. Because Cleveland Indians at number 4 versus the Yankees at number 5.
We get game 1, Bieber versus Garrett Cole.
Yes, man. Yes.
And then I feel like if Cleveland can win that game, they're going to beat the Yankees because you cannot have the consistency after Garrett Cole with the Yankees.
Look, I know the Yankees are full of hitters. That's what they do.
But they're not in Yankee Stadium.
You're playing Bieber. This is a no-win situation.
Yeah. Triple Crown winner. Like
Look, Bieber's in the zone. This is his season, and he hasn't pitched that long, so he is in top peak performance right now.
Yeah, it's the inconsistency of the pitching staff behind Garrett Cole is what's Yankees are worried about. The hitting are hitting, but the thing is, they didn't win enough to play at home.
Exactly.
So they're going to Cleveland. So it's like that's where your hitters like, who's going to do this? Who's going to do what? Like, it's going to be interesting. If it's a close game and Cleveland pulls it out, it's going to be interesting if Yankees might get swept out of the first round, which are heavy World Series favorites.
Absolutely. They very well could.
So the bracket's insane. You know, the first day of the wild card series for the AL is on Tuesday, starting at 2:00 on ABC, Astros at Twins. Then we got White Sox at Oakland at 3:00 on ESPN, Blue Jays at Rays on TBS at 5, and then Yankees in Cleveland are at 7:00 on Tuesday.
Okay.
And then on Wednesday, the day of baseball, you have Astros and Twins on ESPN2 at 1:00. You have White Sox in Oakland at 3:00 on ESPN, Blue Jays and Rays on 4:00 on TBS, and then Yankees in Cleveland 7:00 on ESPN. And then if necessary, of course, they'll play Thursday. Pretty much it says ESPN family of networks for all of them except for Blue Jays and Rays will be TBS, all time to be determined depending on. And then of course Friday the NL, if there's a game 3 necessary, we have those 3 as well. And then they'll have the weekend to travel to the bubble.
Whew. Man, a lot of baseball.
I know. Wednesday, I was like, I swear to God, if Zoe to come Wednesday when I'll be at. My goal is to be out of work by noon so I can be home to watch 8 games of baseball.
Ooh, be careful what you wish for. You could be watching them in the hospital.
Oh, trust me, I'll have the iPad charged and phones going because this would be too much to watch.
Yeah, man. Agreed.
But I think it's time we need to talk about our picks.
Yeah, let's talk about it, man.
So let's go and start with I think it was the National League. I did.
All right.
I saved the picture and I was like, no, I'm just gonna print this out and write it up.
Exactly.
So in the NL, the wild card round, I think we both got the Dodgers going.
Absolutely, I got the Dodgers going.
The Padres, St. Louis, I got to go with the Padres.
Slam Diego.
So and then Cubs, Marlin, I think it's gonna be interesting, but I think Cubs will prevail.
Me too.
It won't surprise me if it goes 3 and make it close because I feel like, you know, Miami is that young scrappy team that this will definitely bring them together.
Right. Miami slipped up and got into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're going to go after this first round.
And then Braves and Reds, I feel like if Trevor Bauer gets game 1, it's going to be hard for Atlanta to win 2 games in a row. So I have Reds moving on.
Yeah, man. Got the Reds there.
Yeah, it's it was interesting. Like, like they got hot at the right time. Can his team make a run?
Yeah, no, I like it. I like what
So
they're doing. They're pumped up, man. And you could tell by Bauer's last outing, they're ready to
yeah,
roll.
definitely. So in the NLDS in Arlington, Texas, we will have the Dodgers versus Padres.
Yep.
This division matchup that we knew was going back and forth all season, and I feel like it's going to go probably all 5 games. And I still think Dodgers are going to edge it out.
Agreed. I got the Dodgers taking this one. They're
think,
too good. They're too good of a team.
Too good between the bullpen, the starting rotation. Because remember, there's no days off, so 5 straight days of these teams going at each other, and the starting rotation is going to be big in these first 2 rounds after the wild card rounds.
Exactly.
And I feel like Dodgers are set up for that.
They're consistent. The Padres are streaky at times.
Yes.
They're hitting when they're hitting us hot, they win. But the Dodgers are going to be too overpowering, I think.
And the biggest thing is Clevenger, the guy they traded for. It's like,
right.
Is he gonna be healthy? Is he actually gonna play? So that's gonna be the big thing to watch. So then in Houston, we have the Cubs versus Reds. This was a tough one. Because it's the division rivals. They both play each other. Cubs did get the season, but Bauer looks strong. So will Bauer go on short rest if necessary, if it goes to 5 games? Which proven he can, and he dominated the other night when he went on short rest. So I'm edging the Reds. There you
Cubs
go.
And Reds.
I just think Cubs there, but some of the players, they're coming back healthy, but it's like there's like we said, starting rotation. So after Darvish, yes, Kyle Kendricks is good, but then Lesnar has been up and down all year. The guy that hit the no hitter, was it Alec Mills or something? He's been up and down. So it's like I said, 5 straight days of baseball, and with Sonny Gray, Trevor Bauer, and Luis Castillo, you talk about 3-headed monster from Cincinnati. I really think Reds are going to push on.
So you and I both have Dodgers versus Reds then.
Yes, in Arlington for the NL, yes.
And I'm pretty sure we both have the same team coming out of that.
I do have the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. The Dodgers
are
just
pitching. Like the short, like you think you get 2 days off if you go all 5 games in your respective locations to start the next day. And depending if, Bauer got to go on short rest, if that 5th game is going to be a big altercations for 7 straight days of baseball, the NL Championship Series.
Man, that's going to be tight.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is, man. So no time to rest, no time to think about, like a day to think about what just happened. You just got to go back out the next day and go for it.
If you thought at the beginning of the season that if we were going to have all the straight playoffs, you would think the Dodgers built for this.
Yeah.
But how many starters they got, the bullpen, you're like, oh, they're ready to throw any guy out there 7 straight days and pitch.
Which is great. I mean, that's what you need at this point, especially with this setup.
Yeah. So we have the Dodgers, which we both had at the beginning of the season. A lot of people did. They're the favorites to win the World Series.
They've been what they were supposed to be this season.
Yeah, and we all thought the Reds could make noise. Unfortunately, we thought it was more going to be the division, but they still got in, and I think they can make that run because they have a lot of talent on that squad. So
I feel like they're going to get to the NLCS for sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's going to fall short for them because Bauer can walk away. Nick can walk away, so it's going to be an interesting offseason for them, win or lose. For them.
Yeah, man, I agree. All right, well, let's talk about the AL.
Man. Some of these were you really got to think about it. So like this first series,
Tampa Bay and Toronto.
I got to go Tampa Bay. They were my preseason picks.
Right. I know they were your team, and I had them going into the playoffs preseason, and I think you were on the fence about them.
Yeah, I said they can make noise, and this is before we knew there were going to be 8 teams.
Exactly. But I agree with you. I think the Rays are built for this. They're going to go through the Toronto Blue Jays pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, and Blue Jays, they need that other starter.
Yeah, they need something.
And they got through it this year, and this offseason, try get another starter or see if one of the young guys are almost ready. Because Ryu, they paid it, and he became their ace that they needed.
If they can somehow sneak away with the game 1, who knows, man? When a 3-game series, this whole sheet could be messed up.
So like I said, with Ryu going game 2, if they do lose game 1, but then do win game 2 to a winner take all game 3, it will be so close. But somehow Rays are just so scrappy and beat you like any way possible. it'd be
It's a
hard for
tough
the
thing.
Rays to lose to an 8 seed.
Right. I agree, but it's tough, and but they are in the same division, and if it came down to one game, like you saw what the Nationals did, anything can happen.
Yes, it can. And it won't surprise me that young Blue Jay teams that don't care, they have nothing to prove, to go out to steal, to advance, they would do it.
All right. Well, I'm interested to see what you have on this next matchup. I don't know if we're going in
Cleveland,
line, but I'm going
Yankees.
Cleveland and Yankees. Exactly.
Man, it's in Cleveland. I don't trust Yankees pitching besides Garrett Cole. I have Cleveland going.
All right. I'm sticking with my preseason picks, and I'm going with the Yankees here. I feel like if they can get their hitting together, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I just don't think the pitching consistent enough to win 2 games in a row if they do lose game 1 to Bieber.
Hey man, I agree, and I'm not saying their pitching is going to get it done. I'm saying their hitting is going to come through.
Yeah,
and
and
you're going to have to rely on.
if you don't like, Cleveland has the hitters too.
I agree.
It's going to be a scrappy series. Now, if
Look,
this was if this was flip flopped and Yankees had the 4 seed and Cleveland, I'd give it to Yankees because it's Yankee Stadium.
Well, that's got to be the toughest matchup I think on this side of the paper.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
because the next one is Twins in Houston and LA.
I got Twins.
The Twins, like I feel like this is going to be a sweep almost because
I do too.
unless
I don't have
Greinke, has a stellar game 1 if he's the starter, so then there's that shot. But then after that, who's going to pitch for Houston? That's the
Right.
question.
Right, and this has nothing to do with the trash can banging. This has to do with the teams this season, and I don't think Houston is a team that I put money on right now. Which is probably why, before we recorded this, I got a notification that somebody put $500,000 on the Twins to win Game 1.
A lot of money.
I agree. So he has that. Somebody has that kind of faith.
Yeah, and then the last series we talk about is the Oakland A's and then the White Sox.
Look, man, I don't know how you're going to cut this up, but my money is on the young gun White Sox.
Yeah, I just feel like with A's losing Matt Chaplin, it's a big hole to lose your star in a 3-game series, and that young pitching in Oakland are there, but Dallas Keuchel having a great year. He's definitely gonna be thrown out there. The offense behind him with Abreu, fucking
everybody there.
Everyone.
Man.
It's like God.
Tim
like,
Anderson. They got Luis Roberts.
I felt bad for Tim Anderson coming up so short in the NL title. I mean the AL batting title. So close.
So close. He's great, man. He's a great player.
God. So so that we got. So I have Rays in Cleveland and San Diego. You have Rays and Yankees.
Yep, that's right.
God, that's an interesting series.
Oh, either way you cut it.
Either way, but if division rivals you thought would be 1 and 2 in the division, which it ended up was for you, and then I have Cleveland, who could be that team, was just depending on what they can put together or not.
Yeah, they turned it up this season. They could be that team.
I'm still sticking with my preseason favorites. I gotta go with the Rays still.
All right. And I know that I told you that preseason, I think I had the Yankees going pretty far. Yes. I got them losing to the Rays right now. So I got the Rays moving forward out of that game.
Like what I just said, like with the previous, which I think they're going to lose to Cleveland, is like we just said about the previous in the NL, is 5 straight days of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Garrett Cole would have to go twice because you don't trust the other guys, the rookies and stuff, because you don't have all these pitchers because of injuries and stuff. It's going to be an interesting series if it is Yankees-Rays, but I feel like Rays have proved himself this year against the Yankees.
Yeah, man, I agree completely. I think the Rays, this is their year to shine out of the AL East, and they're going to go through the Yankees this one. Might be full games, but they're going to get it done.
Yeah. So the next one I think we both have is Twins and Sox in LA.
Yeah, we both have Twins and Sox. Who you got?
This one was tough.
They always are, man.
The division rivals, and I think the Twins been consistent. They got their veterans to be this, and then this will be the first postseason for a majority of these White Sox. I gave 5 games edging to the Twins.
Okay.
I think they built this offseason to try to make this run. I think they make this run.
Is this the team that you said they built to beat the Yankees?
Yes.
So they should be good in this situation.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, didn't look at it that way. I looked at it like, hey, man, these White Sox guys, they have nothing to lose. They shouldn't be here. Reminds me a little bit of the Mets in 2015. I got the White Sox winning it. I feel like these guys are young and hungry, and they're trying to prove themselves right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a real tight series. Like
it will be for sure.
4 or 5 games at least. I do not see no sweep going on here unless they're all like the Cleveland White Sox series earlier this week, where it was, walk-offs, like that kind of a tight race. going to be interesting, and it's going to be weird all around with this bubble, no one playing at any familiar park, AL playing at NL parks, NL playing at AL parks.
Yep.
But playing in LA, might not, it'd be a little weird feel for both the Twins and White Sox because it's not going to be cold there in October baseball like they would be if they
I'm
were
sure they'll
back in
appreciate that.
Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
All right.
so
Well, with that being said, I'm assuming you have the Rays coming out of this.
yeah, I'm still sticking with them.
Okay.
And like I said, pitching. I have those Rays Twins. That's why I think the edge is going to go to the Rays in that spot.
Well, it's funny because you said that the Twins were built to beat the Yankees this time around. If they get up against the Rays, who they should, what I'm saying, that could be a tough one right there.
It could be.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The Twins are good, but are they better than the Rays? I'm not sure. But either way, I have the White Sox against the Rays, so that's not even a worry of mine right now. And even though I had faith in the White Sox up to this point, the Rays are going to get it done, and they're going to move on to the World Series.
Yeah, when in what is it? The 3 times the Rays won the division, one of the times they went to the World Series, lost to the Phillies that year. It's Charlie Bloom of the Red Sox is rooting for his Tampa Bay Rays. Probably a lot of the guys is who he traded or drafted to make this team. That's why Red Sox have faith in Charlie to rebuild them because what he has done with the Rays previously until he left. The Rays have I think the 3rd lowest payroll in baseball and had the 2nd best record.
Crazy.
It's insane when you look at it like that.
Exactly. Man, it's hard to believe that can get accomplished, especially when you're so used to like teams throwing a lot of money into them just to get good.
So we both have the Rays versus Dodgers in the World Series. And if you think about it, one of the lowest payrolls in baseball versus the highest payroll in baseball.
Exactly. And it's crazy. I don't ever want it to end up this way, to have 2 number 1 seeds, because it's like, that's rarely going to happen.
Rarely.
But I do have it this way on paper just because it makes the most sense at this point. But who do you have taking the World Series?
I still gotta go with Dodgers.
Even though you had your faith in your Rays guys, huh?
Yeah, I had faith in Rays, but I had them losing to Dodgers in the preseason. The pitching, even though in the World Series they will have regular days off like they would if it was a travel day,
which is going to benefit both teams.
Yeah, which I don't get why do a fake travel day for the World Series if not for the other series, but
right.
But okay, but what we talked about with the NL picks is the Dodgers, the pitching. Yep. Dustin May, Kershaw, like any of you guys can throw out there, and then the pick of the litter, who can be the MVP of the World Series, NL championship, because Mookie, Bellinger, God, like you just throw anyone out there, and it's funny when you look at the average in the NL, the top 10, they had a top 10 average in the NL from a Dodger, but it was none of the big guys. It was Corey Seager.
Okay.
So, if he's averaging, Mookie's hitting, playing in second base, outfield, anywhere possible, and then Clayton finishing the top 5 of the ERA after missing a couple starts. But what Clay Shaw are we getting? But here's the thing. It's a shortened season. Kershaw's rested compared to previous postseasons.
So you think this will be the first time he actually has a good postseason?
I think so, because his arm is not going to be thrown out, 32 starts plus playoffs, I think he had 10 starts.
Yeah.
That's nothing for Clay Shaw.
Absolutely nothing.
He get the monkey off his back and get his World Series ring this year.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, hey, I think I'm right there with you. If you can see my paper, I got the Dodgers. Dodgers winning it all, man, because you know what? They've been hyped up since, 4 years ago. They've just been consistently a good team. And at the end of last season, everybody had them going back. And you know what? They did not disappoint this year either. I feel like they're super solid. They're in it to win it. This is a good year for them.
Yeah, because the last 4 years they've lost to the World Series champions, either in the NL or in the World Series.
Right.
If you look at it that way, it's like the Buffalo Bills back in the 90s. It's unfortunate that you went to so many Super Bowls, but you lost to the champions.
Yeah. So
you can look at it that way,
right?
Yeah, but I think it is Dodgers' year.
I agree. It is. If the Rays win, good for them. Just right now in my mind, I feel like the Dodgers have the best chance of getting it done.
I feel like Rays get close, and then maybe the owner gets gets that one free agent or trade out the way to push him over the edge next year to make another big run.
Yeah, I mean, but who knows, man? We could be talking about White Sox Brewers in the World Series. We never know.
Yeah,
It
because
could be
injuries
crazy.
happen. Like
Yeah,
someone can get
exactly.
injured and then, or hell, we could talk like Reds can make a run, or hell, Miami stays undefeated and somehow make it to the World Series.
Exactly. And I know that won't be good for TV ratings or whatever because it's not a big market team, but it'd be crazy to see if that happens. Yeah, what a Cinderella
Yeah,
story for those
because
teams.
everyone wanted Dodgers Yankees. Everyone
Yeah.
thought that was everyone's
Oh,
consistent.
exactly.
I just don't see, what's the injuries that are piling up with the Yankees for pitching. I'm like, I don't think
But
they can do it.
how interesting would it be if you get like you said, one of those random teams like the Cardinals and A's are in there or something? Like, man, who would have thought?
2020.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly. Right. Nothing goes the way it's supposed to. So let's see what happens this season.
So after all said and done, what teams have been disappointed to us? I think clearly for both of us, it's going to be the New York Mets.
Yeah, very disappointing. I mean, we thought we were on the right track to be better. We were at the beginning of the season, we were saying, hey, who are we going to kick off the starting rotation to, hey, who the fuck starting after the second guy? You know what I'm saying? It's been like that kind of season for us. All we needed was a couple more wins to make it happen. So it wasn't super disappointing. But another thing that's a recurring issue with us is the bullpen. And I feel like the bullpen would just let the Mets down year after year.
Yeah. So we both like the Mets going into the season, but when they expanded to 8 teams, I'm like, there's no reason why we should miss the playoffs.
Agreed. I'm like, if you got half the squad, half the teams getting in, the Mets should be on that tier.
Yeah. And then when I broke it down, looked at it, overall team stat wise, we had the best average in the National League.
Sick.
As a team.
Sick, man. Sick.
It's just like, okay, so it's not our offense. And then the top 10 players in average, 7 out of 10 of them were from the NL East, and Mets had the most with 3 in the top 10.
Exactly. How does this happen and you not make the playoffs? It's mind-boggling.
Well, besides from DeGrom, starting pitching was a mess.
Right. I know.
Peterson showed well, some highlights, so he probably solidified his spot in the rotation next year. Lugo had his ups and downs after becoming a starter, so maybe it's best for him to go back to the bullpen. Waka, Porcello, Matz is just highly disappointing. Diaz finally looked like the guy we traded for when he got a chance most of the year, so hopefully that stays. But then after that, it's like with a new owner coming in front office, most likely getting turnover, there's a lot of work to do for these Mets.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Hopefully if, Steve gets the okay, then, Sanderson, not Sanderson, but Sandy gets the president job and fix his team hopefully soon. And then the next team, say in the NL East, I think it has to be the Phillies.
Yeah, I wasn't originally going to say the Phillies were a team that disappointed me because I kind of expected them not to do much. I mean, yes, they got Bryce Harper, but they let go of a really good manager, and they didn't do great last season, so I didn't expect them to do great this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so when you have a top 10 starting ERA in baseball, when every other team around you through the top 14 made the playoffs except for you, it shows you where your hole was, which was the bullpen. Yeah. And then Harper looked like he was his MVP self the first part of the year before hitting the shit button and being terrible. This is the last time we see JT Realmuto in a Phillies uniform.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, and he wasn't available after the game for questions. Is that a sign that his tenure might be over?
Probably.
So where does Philly go from here?
I don't know, man, but I felt like they picked the wrong guy to build a team around. I mean, I know Harper's good and all, but is he the leader? I don't think so.
Yeah. And then the last team I got, it's got to be the Angels.
Yeah, I have the Angels on my list too, man. I felt like they did all these offseason moves. They were in it to win it. On paper, they look great. Shotani was supposed to do double work as a pitcher and hitter. Pujols was about to crush some records. Trout was being Trout. How could they lose? They had Upton in the outfield, Brian Godwin. I mean, they had guys. It just didn't come together. It didn't click.
So when you're the best player in the world, and at his full out of his full 9 seasons, 8 times he has missed the postseason.
Sick, man.
We talked about earlier about the fire of the GM. So what's next for them? They got a great manager. So what's hard to sell for Cali? Is it the living Cali? You get to play with the best player in the world. Are they going to load up this offseason? Are they going to make that move to GM to bring guys in, They're definitely gonna go for pitchings. It won't surprise if they go hard after Trevor Bauer. You know, he's from California. They'll throw some
Yeah,
stupid
that'd be
money
great.
after him.
They need to
It
get
will
somebody like
not
that.
surprise me. They almost got Cole, but you know, Cole's been a diehard, you know, Yankees when he was growing up, so it was kind of hard for him not to turn down that deal.
Oh yeah, they spend so much money on their players. It's kind of hard to grow up and not like them.
Yeah, so they're gonna throw some money around. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the Angels do. Any other team that disappointed you this season?
Yeah, I had a couple more. The first team, it wasn't a huge disappointment because, like you said, they had a fire sale, but it's the Red Sox. I mean, last season they went 84-78. I didn't expect them to fully tank it this year. I mean, you go from what they come in second in their division last year all the way down to last place. It's pretty tough to swallow. And then the other team I had that was disappointing were the Diamondbacks. Last season the Diamondbacks finished 85-77. I thought they had the winning formula, but apparently not.
Yeah, after barely missing the wild card last year, you would think that, you know, and then
step it up.
and then you signed. Why am I drawing a name blank right now? Ballgarner.
Yeah.
You signed him. You thought it'd be that guy, and didn't work out for you, did it?
Mm.
Yeah, Mahomes need to calm down.
Exactly. Who you telling? All right. Well, with that being said, let's go to our postseason awards.
Yeah, and the first one we're gonna talk about is the AL and NL Cy Young picks. AL, I think it's clear cut. You know, when you win the Triple Crown for pitching since first time since 2006 since Santana, I think it's hard not to pick you.
Yeah.
So Shane Bieber, the Cleveland Indians, it's a lock. Man. I feel like
it is. So yeah, I got Shane Bieber. Like you said, he won the Triple Crown. He had 8 wins this season, 122 Ks. His ERA is a 1.63. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, you know, out of all the hurlers logged at least 60 innings, Bieber lead all NL pitching, only allowed 5.35 hits per 9 innings. He also led MLB with 122 strikeouts, 14.2 strikeouts per 9, and the ERA is just insane. You know, and then especially you're talking about coming out of that division with the White Sox.
Exactly.
Twins, and you know, he was the bright spot for Cleveland. And it won't surprise me if he gets some decent amount of MVP votes.
I agree with you. Absolutely.
Especially if they would have won the division, he probably would have got a lot more because it was all on him to lead that, you know. But Triple Crown, I feel like he's at least gonna be a finalist in the MVP. But you know, and then right behind him, unfortunately, Beaver had a great year. You think of Dallas Keuchel, and then Ryu, and then Kenta Maeda. Like, you know, you're thinking about pitchers; those were right there with him. But Beaver just from the get go, you know, opening day just did not slow down. And then I think we have to talk about this NL.
Yeah, man, the NL's gonna be tough.
And there's no clear cut, like, you know, we talked about with Shane Bieber. It's like, who's gonna get the votes? It'll come down to percentage, first place, second place, like, and it's unfortunate because you just think about ERA, you know, hits and stuff, but you gotta think about their competitions, who they face so many times. And right now, I'm giving it slight to Trevor Bauer.
I agree.
I think he's going to edge it out.
I got Trevor Bauer on my list as well.
It's going to be so close, but I think he's going to get enough to be just barely in front of DeGrom, I feel like. You know, and, you know, like we just said, with the NL award, it's clear cut. Bauer bounced back, dominating his 11 starts for Cincinnati Reds this year. You know, he fanned 100 batters and 73 innings. Only 41 hits allowed, 14 earned runs. You know, he led the league in 1.73 ERA, all MLB plus all of MLB with a rate of 5.05 hits per 9 innings. So that's the only thing he was better than Shane Bieber, which was his former teammate and good friend. And like I said, I think DeGrom is just going to come up short the last couple starts. Just coming up short for him. He'll get second place, I feel like. And then I think Darvish will probably get third. If I was voting.
Right. If I was voting, I was torn between Bauer and Darvish right now. I mean, yeah, DeGrom, like I think you showed me some stats that he played some tougher teams and all those.
That's yeah. If people look at that way, I think that's why I think DeGrom will get second. If you think about competition, because I think a lot of Vit
I
for
just
Beaver
yeah,
was not Beaver, but Bauer was uh what was it? Detroit, Kansas City, like the lower end Pirates. If you think those are three of the worst teams in baseball compared to the ground face and the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Rays. So, but because of ERA and everything, I still think Trevor Bauer will get the slight edge
and I
over
agree, man,
DeGrom.
because Trevor Bauer's what ERA is 173. He had 100 Ks. He pitched great. This is his
Yeah.
year. I don't think he's going to lose it, but we'll
And
see how the voting goes.
and what a year to have when it's your time to finally get paid.
Exactly. Right. Best time to show up, man. So yeah, let's move on. AL and NL MVP.
Man, this one was
Let's start with the
interesting.
AL.
AL, I gotta go with Jose Abreu from the White Sox.
I agree, man. I was really tempted to say Shane Bieber, but I cannot
Yeah.
discount the fact that Jose Abreu is what he's done with the White Sox. He ended up batting 317, had 19 home runs, 60 RBIs. I mean, this is just in 30 games, man. Those are great stats. And he helped his team get to the playoffs, undoubtedly.
Yeah, he played in all 60 of the White Sox games. Finished with a
An RBI a game on average.
yeah, a 987 OBS, it's AL best 76 hits, the MLB high marks with the 60 runs batted in, the 148 total bases, spearhead Chicago's push for the first postseason since 2008, in line with 16 homers between August 16th and the end of the season, helping lead the White Sox to a 25-14 finish.
Exactly.
That's why I think Bray should be MVP. I believe Beaver will finish second or third. Trout, I feel like might crack the top five.
I'm sure he'll be top five, but I mean, this year it was Jose. What he's done is kind of hard to ignore.
And then Cruz might be three. Nelson Cruz,
Okay.
like it's gonna be interesting to see what the voters do since he's just a DH.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, there's a couple guys that can contend, but Bray is pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, that White Sox team is. Now NL is very interesting.
It is.
It toss and turn. You think about who's out there, who should win it. My pick, I gotta go with Freddie Freeman.
I don't see how you don't pick Freddie Freeman. What he's done this year is pretty good, man.
Especially after that battle with COVID before the season started.
Yeah.
Which
exactly.
I thought he was going to miss like the first week or two of the season, and he game one against the Mets. I'm like, why is he playing? He hasn't had no preseason workout, and then. But hey,
new thought on life after that. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go out there and give it my all.
Yep. So Freeman helped Atlanta won their third straight NL East title. The veteran first baseman slashing a 341 batting average. With ML high marks with 51 runs and 23 doubles. With a stacked lineup, it's unreal what the offensive numbers you think in Atlanta, but Freddie Freeman's numbers, and he's been that guy for years, but finally put together for a full season. Well, not a full season, but at least a season where we're in. Yeah,
if you want to count like that.
But it's just insane. You said like his describing from COVID, like got so scared, and it's insane. And then now you go out here to win the NL East title.
Right. And then he tops off with 13 home runs, 53 RBIs, and his OPS is a 1.102. So, yeah, Freddie Freeman, he did his thing, man. And, Atlanta, their whole team is pretty solid. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up in the World Series somehow.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they've been doing great.
Yeah, very much so. And it's just very interesting, if it wasn't for what Freddie Freeman did there towards the end, I think Mookie would have got his – MVP and one of the first in I don't know how many years he got an MVP in both leagues. 2 years removed from his AL MVP, and Mookie was right there. Could still. The vote's going to be very close. Maybe it depends on how they line up, but I think the unfortunate thing is where Freddie Freeman plays in the East, so the games are much earlier compared to the West. Yeah, and it's not like a lot of people are seeing. They're used to seeing everyone play at least once in the East or the West. So it's a weird year. I think that's how all the voting's going to go when we think about it. And it's like, if you're on a big team that had a lot of big market games, then you might got to see more because you couldn't travel. And it's so weird. Like, I remember at first watching the Mets games when they're away, like, oh, that's right. They're watching it on a TV screen like us.
Exactly.
Like it's insane. So, but yeah, I think Mookie will come up second. Third, like Juan Soto is kind of hard not to notice his numbers, but I
Yeah, he's
think,
21, man.
It was hard for me maybe to think Machado might be third.
Oh yeah, I think Machado is definitely there.
I think Soto will get top 5
Juan
votes.
Juan Soto did pretty well.
He
but
did win the winning the batting title after missing the first week or so of baseball
Yeah.
from COVID test and being that terrible team to win the batting title. It's just, you really hear about much of Soto.
That's
How
right,
bad
because
the
the team
Nationals
hasn't
were
been
doing.
good.
I just couldn't believe he was that close. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, wow, he might get this title. And then, of course, pretty much sewn it up and they pulled him to make sure he got that batting title.
Yeah, I guess you got to root for something when your team's not doing anything this year.
Right.
All right. Well, hey, let's move on to the rookie of the year, man.
So the AL, until about what we'll say the last month of September, pretty much summed it up. And I think Kyle Lewis is going to get it from Seattle.
I think Kyle Lewis will get it, but that's not the pick I picked. I got Luis Roberts of the White Sox.
I just felt like, in the month of September, what happened in 23 games, Luis Roberts went 11 for 81 in those games. It's kind of hard, which, Roberts in the beginning, we thought that was a slam dunk rookie of the year, but, Lewis appeared in 18 games last year and made the most of it with 885 OBS and 6 home runs with those 18 games for Seattle into last year. So he showed that he could do it. And if it wasn't for Luis Roberts' defense, I think it would be much more spread apart because Luis Roberts is a very great center fielder. But I think Kyle Lewis is going to get it this year. Picked it where he left off. He finished with an 801 OBS, 11 home runs, 5 stolen bases. Even though he finished behind Luis Robert in WAR, it was because of, like you said, Roberts' defense. I think that got him the WAR. But I still think Lewis
and that's what I like about Roberts.
Will edge him out.
His overall game, defense and offense, I like Robert. But we'll see. I mean, yeah, I feel like Kyle has a strong case. Lewis has a strong case. We'll see how they vote. I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Yeah, I really wouldn't. But and then this next one, the NL. This is what took me so long to do my notes today. Is this pick?
You trying to pick which one you thought was best?
It was very hard, but I still went with Jake.
Okay.
From the Padres.
I didn't like his batting average. I don't like Luis Roberts' batting average either, but I don't know. I just couldn't get behind it. I get it. He's a rookie, but yeah, what do you like about the guy?
In 54 games, the 49 hits, the 4 home runs, 20 RBIs, the 285 is an okay year, but the 20 RBIs, you'd think most time after batting behind Machado and Tatis Jr., there's probably not many people on base for you to hit around the way that was going. So that's why he didn't get any RBIs. But with playing majority of the year, I think is what's going to help him. Who do you have?
I got the Marlins pitcher Sixto Sanchez. He went 7 games started. His record's 3-2. His ERA is 3.46, and he had 33 strikeouts. For a rookie, man, I thought it was solid. The Marlins, he helped him get into the playoffs. I like him. I like him for a rookie.
Yeah, and then the other 3 people I had was Alec Bowman for the Phillies. The thing for me that he only played in 44 games. Yes, his numbers are good.
Yeah.
And then the Devin Williams from the Brewers, a relief pitcher, great year, 22 games, 27 innings pitched. He only allowed 8 hits, 1 earned run the whole season, a .33 ERA. But like I said, it's only 22 games. It's kind of that's why I think the guy with the most,
I agree.
The most have turned out to be a factor. And like I said, this could be like the Cy Young vote where it come down to who gets the most first place votes, second place votes, where tally up, where it's going to be very close for this one. It's not years past where Alonso last year, the year before with Juan Soto, then the year before that, Acuna. All those were slam dunks years. You knew clearly this one, it's going to be smaller sample size. People who watch the defense, they're going to be very close to who they're going to give their votes to.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, there's a lot of young guys coming up this year, so there's a lot of good competition as well.
Yeah, this is, I think the race is going to be the hardest for voters to pick is the NL Rookie of the Year. and we'll have to watch and see how it comes out. And I feel like, and it's funny that you think about it, really, if you all three NL, the big ones, MVP, Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year,
Mhm.
are going to come down to votes. I feel like Freddie Freeman kind of pulled himself away, should get the more majority votes, but the Cy Young, it can become a who vote who. Like I said, DeGrom faced better opponents than Bauer. It depends on, if you have a vote.
Plus DeGrom's a brand name. He's already won 2 in a row. He could get some votes just because of this, and he had a good season.
Yeah.
It's not like he had a bad season. He had a pretty solid season.
So it's gonna be interesting. So, and then the AL NL Manager of the Years.
Yes,
man, I think AL. I have to give it with my guy Kevin Cash from the Rays.
Okay, yeah, man.
The team payroll at $59 million when they clinched the NL East, compared to those Bronx Bombers at 247 million payroll. It's insane that one of the best managers of baseballs consistently, outside of Florida, no one pays attention to Kevin Cash. Cash had 17 different players start at least 10 games for him. 11 different players played multiple positions and never had any combination of players in the same spot on the diamond for more than 2 games. How has that worked out for him?
Crazy.
And, and the funny thing, if you ask people, who's the most winningest coach in Rays history, you might hear Joe Madden.
Mm-hmm.
Take the World Series, but actually Kevin Cash is now the most winningest manager with the Rays organization.
Wow. That's pretty
solid. He has done it, 100 wins last year, the best record in the AL. I think it's time to, and then, he hasn't got many votes. He didn't win it last year. It's like, it's time for him to get that award, I think, finally. What do you think?
Well, I think you kind of have an idea of who I like. I like the White Sox manager, Rick Renteria. Last season, they went 72-89. He went from that to making the playoffs with a record of 35-25, and he did it with a super young squad. I mean, he has Jose Abreu leading his team. Look, man, I like what he's done there. I like where they're going. I like everything about this team. I think he earns it.
I think so too. The only thing, I think if he would have won the division, it'd been a tighter race for me.
I agree.
Because he ended up just getting the wild card spot, it probably hurt his chances very slim. But like I said, the vote, but do they expect that Kevin Cash was going to win the division? No, but make the postseason? Yes. But
I don't
have
know.
the best record?
Predict the White Sox to make it this far? I don't know.
With expanded playoffs, I don't know. It was a chance. It all depends.
That's true. All right. Well, then let's move on to National League.
National League, I think you got to get the Don Mattingly of the Marlins.
Hey man, I'm right there with you. I got the Marlins too.
We all thought this team was going to be one of the worst teams in baseball.
I wrote them off, especially after they started with COVID.
Every manager has stuff to deal with, but if you think it's safe to say no manager ever had to deal with what the 2020 Miami Marlins had to deal with, over 170 roster moves in 2 months. It once made 40 roster moves in a week because of the COVID outbreak. What Don Mattingly has gone through, the 8-day shut off with the COVID, 18 players disappear into quarantine, scheduled league with, fly and home games in Baltimore, yet somehow other managers ripped off 6 wins in a row, roar off to a 7-1 start, and then end up securing the 2nd seed in the NL East.
Right. And not to mention that last season they had one of the worst records at 57-105 to making the playoffs at a 6th seed this season. Yeah, with all that stuff going on.
Trading, Giancarlo Stanton, Teru Muto, Yelich, you trade all these guys with the organization after buying the team, and Jeter, you're looking at him, but the draft picks, the young guys they've gotten around, scrappy, where
building it
make
up
some
right.
noise.
They're building it up right. Yeah.
If it's not this year, this could be an interesting team. We thought about the Braves a couple years ago when they called up Acuna. We're this team is a year earlier than what we thought they were.
Yeah, and I feel like the Marlins right now, I know it's a short season,
our year or two
couple years
ahead. Yeah. But that young pitching they've drafted has, came together. Man, interesting year for them.
Yeah, Don Mattingly definitely deserves this one.
Yeah. So all in all, we got to end this talk with our final thoughts of this season. What is there to say about a 60-game season?
Well, it was definitely a roller coaster ride. We've had a lot of ups and downs. It went by quickly.
Quickly, too many injuries. If you think about it, with pitching,
I felt
people
like
opting out, people opting in.
another thing I felt about this season was every game that we lost, every single game hurt. It felt like every game was a big game because you only had 60 games. We figured that the cutoff was 30 wins. If your team was struggling, winning a game, losing a game, I just felt like every game mattered more than it would in a normal season. Like if we lost a couple games in normal season, no sweat. We lose a couple games this season, it's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's was like almost 2 3 games per game it came out to be. It's
Right,
insane.
right. You can't afford to lose a series ever.
Yeah, it's insane when you think about it. Like you said, it went by so quick. You think in July we were starting baseball, but it was last week of July. Then it's
Right.
like, okay, it's September already. Like we are talking like, oh, we got a month left in the season. Like how these playoff races coming. It was insane, but at least
Yeah,
we got baseball this year.
right. And with the short season, man, some of these guys put up some numbers that I can't believe. Like Jose Abreu, 60 RBIs and 30 in 60 games. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Other guys like that is just, some of these stats are pretty impressive.
it's like you said, like with the Mets, Pete's like, I wish we had 100 more games. And
I
if we
know.
had more games, it's like, what could some of these teams done? Like
I
what they
agree.
fixed with the ship and got it right. Would of more younger guys had more time to develop in the minor league system to come up to help the team in the postseason. And like, look at the White Sox. They called up the guy they drafted this year, and he's throwing 102 out the
Lefty.
bullpen.
Lefty, right?
Yeah,
Yes, I
we
love it.
thought it could happen, and
Yeah.
White Sox has done it. We'll
Well,
see.
we thought it could happen because of this season, because of the way
Yeah,
it's starting out.
and we'll see if he makes the postseason roster, which probably he will because he's had great
Flamethrower.
innings. Yeah.
They're gonna need somebody like that.
So all in all, it's a weird season. A lot of people ask is 20 any sports in 2020 is a legitimate year. It's
Yeah,
sports.
we got all four big sports playing right now. You got basketball, hockey, football, and baseball all playing at the same time.
Yeah, and you think about it, it is weird right now because Stanley Cup's going on right now. You have the NBA Finals getting ready to start Wednesday. Playoff baseball starts tomorrow, and then you have week 3 of the NFL concluding tonight. It's like it's insane. And then NBA will probably push their season back to January.
Yeah.
Baseball, who knows what the thoughts are going to be? Probably, hopefully everything's good to go. Spring training come March, well, February, everyone report. And then, football, so far so good. They finally had the first COVID positive player this week with Atlanta, but just him tested positive. So far so good. And NBA, I think, set the example for the bubble. With the finals getting ready to start, it's weird seeing all these, makeshift
Right.
fans.
Right. And hockey's doing pretty well in the bubble too.
Yeah,
And I think when they end the season, which should be this week probably,
yeah, because
I
this is
think they're
game
gonna start back up
6.
in December. So
I feel like that's a little soon, but like
I know, but they're used to starting back in October.
yeah. So like with NBA first thought they were gonna almost had like a month off to recoup, and I thought it was a little too much. Now, of course, Adam Silver with the NBA said they probably won't start till at least 2021, which makes
Right.
a lot more sense because okay, they're if they go game 7 of the finals, you're talking October like 13th. How are you gonna get a team together in a month to sign free agents, do a draft, get a preseason together to start hopefully by December? That's a little too quick.
Yeah.
Hockey, man, like if they want to do that and push it that quick, man, it's gonna be insane.
Who are you telling?
Baseball, it's almost gonna end at the regular time, so they'll have a regular off season. November, we'll see if Mets get a new owner verified. So then we have the winter meetings and then any decisions made. And like I said, we might have some fans for the NL CS and then the World Series in Texas. You see a lot of teams. Like I watched the Washington football team in Cleveland Browns game. They allowed 6,000 fans into the stadium. That usually holds probably almost 80 to 100,000.
Mm.
Other areas are doing this like 25%. So we gotta get stuff back to normal. Yes, this year was weird. 12 starts from a starter for a Cy Young award. It's insane.
Yeah, if there's only a little bit more time, maybe DeGrom could have taken it over again, but it's just not going to happen this year, I don't think.
Yeah, you think about another 20 starts he maybe would have had, like what could have been. A lot of players like what could have been. Like, could the Angels turned around and actually had a season where they could call up some people and make a run?
I'm gonna say no, but yeah.
So it's weird. This playoffs is going to be very interesting with the no days off for the first couple rounds after the wild card round. To go straight through a series of 5 games to decide to go on to the championship series, then 7 games to decide who goes to the World Series straight in a row. It's going to be a tough battle for teams who are not built with starting rotation and a deep bullpen. Because if you don't have that, I feel like you're going to get out of the playoffs pretty quickly.
I agree. All right, man. Well, I think that's all we have in this. Wait till the playoffs come, and we can start showing them what we got going.
Yeah, so playoffs start tomorrow.
A lot of baseball coming up.
A lot of baseball. So tomorrow, starting at 2:00 on ABC, is the first postseason game with Astros and Twins, White Sox in Oakland at 3, Blue Jays and Rays at 5, and then Yankees and Cleveland at 7. And then the day of baseball on Wednesday, starting at noon, all the way to 10:00 that night. So we'll see y'all next week. Can't wait to see who made out of the wild card round. Since that will end at least on Friday, and then the division series will start Monday. So maybe we'll do our recap on Sunday, see how we do, and we'll catch y'all next time.
All right.